Hey, what's going on YouTube? Mike here and welcome back to the channel. And today we have here a pretty interesting device. We have here the 7th generation iPod Touch, which is Apple's latest iPod device and possibly its last iPod ever. So the iPod devices were pretty successful back in the day, and when the iPod Touch came out, it proved to be a very popular device, mostly due to the futuristic form factor, and it looked a lot like an iPhone. And it almost functioned like one too, except that you didn't get the phone part, obviously. So today, if you're looking for an affordable entry point into the iOS ecosystem, then the iPod Touch 7th generation is one such device. So back in 2017, I did have an iPhone 6 and I enjoyed using iOS, and I kind of want to revisit that. So for this one, let's take a quick hands-on tour with the iPod Touch 7th generation. Alright, so before we get things started, I just want to say that we are currently on the road to 1,000 subs. So if you like this video or any of the other content on my channel, then your support will go a long way towards our goal. Alright, so I have the iPod here unboxed and set up already. I have my Apple account on there as well as my apps. Now let's take a quick look at the box that it comes in. Of course, it comes in this transparent box that Apple uses for its iPod devices. You just get the manual, some device information, and of course some warranty papers. And you also get a lightning cable in the box, but unfortunately you don't get a charging brick along with it, which is kind of a bummer. It would have been better if they put in a charging brick in there, but of course this is a cheaper Apple device, so yeah. And of course you get standard earphones with a 3.5mm jack, which is pretty awesome considering that most Apple devices nowadays don't come with a 3.5mm headphone jack. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the box contents. Now let's take a look at the iPod itself. So checking out the build and design here, you just get a small 4-inch display up front, and on the back you do have an aluminum material covering the entire back of the iPod. You get the Apple logo, a plastic strip to let signals through, a single camera, and of course an LED flash, your usual buttons and ports, your volume and lock buttons. Now this is going to be different from your iPhone setup because most iPhones nowadays have the buttons on either side of the device, and the button layout on here is similar to that of the iPhone 5. And we have the classic Apple home button on here, which means there's not going to be any Touch ID, which is kind of weird if you think about it. I would have preferred if Apple put in a Touch ID button on here, considering that this is a 2019 device. And of course, we've had Touch ID since the iPhone 5S, which was released back in 2014 or around that time. Right, so on the bottom you do get a standard Apple Lightning port for charging and data transfer, and a 3.5mm headphone jack, which as I said earlier is pretty awesome considering that most iPhones today do not have a headphone jack. So on the back of the iPod is a single 8-megapixel camera, and that's pretty much all you get considering the price of the device. And this is accompanied by a 1.2-megapixel, yes, you heard that right, 1.2-megapixel front camera. And while I am not expecting most from these cameras, we are going to still test these out for a full review soon. Alright, just to show you guys how small this thing is, let's compare it to the Pixel 3a, which itself is already a small phone by today's standards. Wow, the iPod is really small. It also fits into the Pixel screen, and that's how small this thing is. This is actually a good example of how screen technology has evolved on mobile devices. Yeah, it's really small, man. Alright, so here's the iPod compared to the iPhone 11. This is just the base iPhone 11. Like, this is not one of the larger iPhones. And as you can see, it just dwarfs its little iOS brother with its massive screen size. Alright, so the screen is definitely small, but it is usable. It feels like a throwback to the iPhone 5, the iPhone 5S, the iPhone 5C, and of course the first generation iPhone SE. And I kinda like this size. Alright, so we're gonna see how comfortable or uncomfortable this screen feels in the long run, so stay tuned for that. So aside from being a cheap entry point into the iOS ecosystem, I got this iPod mostly as a music and media device. Sure, the screen is small and streaming Netflix here is probably not the best solution for that kind of thing, but as a dedicated music player, it serves my needs well. If I'm like listening to music or watching something on my Pixel 3a and the battery goes dead, I can charge that over in the corner and just use this until I get my Pixel 3a back. And also it's very portable. This is one thing that I really like about the small size. It fits into most pockets easily. Now the 7th generation iPod Touch also comes with iOS 13, which makes it compatible with most content on the App Store. And of course this is powered by the Apple A10 Fusion chip, which is the same chip on the iPhone 7 series. Although there will be some performance differences as this chip is underclocked compared to what you get on those other devices. So it'll be interesting to see how this device performs in the long run. Alright, so I loaded a couple of games on here. Let's see how it runs. We do have Sonic Runner's Adventure, which is a fairly simple game. It's pretty basic. It'll probably have no problem running on the iPod Touch. And we do have Battle Chasers Night War, which is a more graphically intensive game. So let's see how this device holds up.
Head that way. If we don't, keep your head up. Yeah, I'm still here. I'll see you later.
Alright, so that does it for this video. Thanks for checking out this quick hands-on of the iPod Touch. We are going to do a full review on this device, so stay tuned for that. We're going to check out the cameras and the battery life and the performance in general. Let's see how this baby holds up. So I really appreciate you guys checking out the channel. And once again, thanks for watching.